welcome back. You have just tuned in to Women's AM. This morning I'm joined by sisters Laika, Ayan, and our special guest this morning is Iman Ben Ali. So welcome back, Iman. Jazakallah for coming and joining us for this discussion today. It's a really important one, as we said. So I just wanted to hear a little bit more about you. So you're the co-founder of Young Planners. So what was the kind of, what made you kind of start up this organisation?
It was sort of meeting the right person at the right time, and
as these things tend to be, don't they?
Talking through and just having great ideas to start something big. So initially we were with a masjid, a charity organisation, and then we kind of branched off from there and became Young Planners for the youth initially. But we're open.
So what services do you offer? Is it a kind of broad?
So we help in conferences and planning events, activities. We like to provide activities. That's where initially we have a campaign that started from just pitching an idea, an activity idea.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. I think it's so important to kind of engage the youth and get the youth on board with these kinds of ideas so that they can, be built upon in future years. So all the best with that, inshallah. Without further ado, let's get on with the discussion in her views. How many of us give blood? And even if we do we ever think about the impact that this can have on the recipient? This can literally be the difference between life and death. So why is there such a shortage of donors? As always, this is a live discussion, so please do share your comments and questions on the topic. The number to call is on your screen now, or why not tweet us at Islam Channel, #WAM15. So, Sister Iman, I'm going to come to you first. To kickstart the discussion this morning. So what is the procedure of donating blood? Is it easy? Is it scary?
Yeah, quite straightforward. After getting, out of the shock and, oh, I'm going to give blood and needle being involved, you register online or on the phone. There's forms to register with NHS. You'll then be called in for a screening. So it'll be a questionnaire, private health screening with them.
So when you register online, they'll tell you where your kind of nearest place is.
Nearest branch to do that. I'm sure with NHS it's almost everywhere.
Yeah.
So you then, after the screening, they check whether your blood is safe to transfuse and whether it's safe for you to give blood.
Yeah.
And then you become a regular donor from that if you want to be. And so
I think it's fantastic that you can actually kickstart the process online. I have to be honest, I'm one of the people, I'm embarrassed to say, that's actually never given blood. And I think for me it is a lot around the kind of fear that you're going to be left feeling kind of weak and ill for days afterwards, or that it's going to be a really awful procedure, that kind of thing. But that's actually really not the case.
No, you're pretty well looked after. After the session you are given refreshments and snacks, so you're there.
You're looked after before you're sent on your way. Sister Ayan, I'm going to come to you for the next question. Who can and can't give blood? Is there anybody out there that really shouldn't, or what's the kind of deciding line?
Potentially anyone could give blood. But it depends on your health, first and foremost. So if you yourself have got any illnesses that would prevent you, or where you really need your blood, where basically you're not producing enough red blood cells yourself, so you can't, you wouldn't be able to, if you have any issues when it comes to the absorption of B12, or if, for example, you're anemic, so you don't have enough, you have an iron deficiency, those are the sort of things that can prevent you. Or if you've got more, more serious illnesses where actually, it would be detrimental to have this illness being transfused into somebody else's system as well. So there are a lot of things that go into whether you can and can't. But there are also other things to look into. So, for example, if you're a male donor and you have to have at least a 12 weeks interval between when you donate. With women, it's different. It's 16 weeks between the intervals when you donate. Right. Also, if you're feeling unwell, so if you've got a chesty cough, a sore throat, an active cold sore, you can't be doing, you can't give any blood.
Right.
Or if you're taking any antibiotics, or you've just recently finished with your course of antibiotics as well, you can't give blood. Or if you've had hepatitis or jaundice in the last 12 months, or if you've got a tattoo or semi-permanent makeup or cosmetic treatment that involves skin piercing within the last 4 months.
Presumably when you go for the screening process,
there's a whole host of things that you need to go through.
They'll be able to kind of advise you.
Ask you all those things.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually have a caller on the line. Assalamu alaikum, Khalid. Welcome to the show.
Assalamu
alaikum, Khalid. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. I understand you have a comment or a question about donating blood?
Sorry, the line is not very clear. I can't hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, go on.
Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah for calling in. And I understand you have a comment or a question about donating blood?
Yes, I was calling to actually add some comments about the importance of donating blood. I'm one of the co-founders of the campaign, and I think it's important to raise awareness within the community, because sadly when we speak with people in the streets, at universities or at masjid, it's always the case that people don't really have enough information, whether it's allowed in Islam to donate blood or not, whether they are able to donate blood in general, as if they are healthy, if they're not healthy enough to donate blood or no. And sometimes they're just lazy to go and just to discover it, or just to add the extra step to help someone else. And obviously, as we know in Islam, it's recommended for us to try to help those who need our help, especially if we know that someone might lose their life if we don't help them. And this is usually the case when we donate blood.
Yeah, so, no, absolutely, absolutely. There are huge, you know, implications of actually donating blood. So, Jazakallah for your call there. I think that kind of reiterates, you know, the importance of this act, and particularly, as the brother was saying, within the Muslim community to kind of raise awareness of this. I know when I did go with my sister, who, you know, mashallah, is a regular donor once, and she was filling out the questionnaire. And one of the questions is, are you, have you visited Africa, or is your partner, you know, current or previous partner from Africa? And I can remember reading this and thinking, oh, well, actually, you know, my husband's from Algeria, North Africa, so I got a bit confused then and thought that would prevent me from donating blood. Can you kind of shed a little bit more light on this aspect?
I think that will just then raise awareness for them to just have to go through further screening and take it to the lab, whereas any other case.
I think it comes down to, because you can catch all sorts of other infections or things like that. It's with anywhere that you go abroad, which is different to your environment. You would have to have extra screening, because I know when I was going abroad to Africa, they made me go through a whole host of vaccinations, because obviously the environment is so incredibly different. Your body is not equipped to handle that, so it's about knowing, you know, what's out there and what you can transmit as well.
So these questions really more to do with the you know, what screening they're going to do, rather than whether you can or can't give blood. So I think that's you know, that's quite important. And also I want to come back to this issue that, you know, the brother when he called in, he was talking about the importance of giving blood and the kind of ramifications of there, you know, there being a shortage of blood donors. Sister Laika, can you tell us a little bit more about the implications of these?
So there's like 3 factors that we can take into consideration. The firstly, awareness. So people don't know that it's a need, it's, you know, dire need for us to donate blood. Secondly, people think that it's not permissible in Islam to donate blood. That's a really big factor, because
we hear this a lot actually. Why is this kind of misconception out there?
Because you know, in Islam we're not allowed to donate our organs when we die and all that kind of stuff, because we believe that our body is like a gift from God, so we shouldn't give anything from within us. But blood is different because it's replenishable, so it's something that our body is constantly reproducing. So there's that aspect, and also fear of what it involves. You know, the commitment of donating blood. People think, oh, I'm gonna have to go in every month and donate blood. But as Ayan said, you know, for women it's 16 weeks, so it's a pretty long time. So you know, there's that aspect. Also, you know, the fact that, you know, we need Muslims to be donating blood, just because that, you know, it's a dire need for the whole community, and Muslims are found to donate more than any other religious group, so that's really good. But even then, it's still really low. In the Quran, you know, Allah says in Surah Maida, whoever kills a soul unless for a soul or for corruption done in the land is as if he had slain mankind entirely, and whoever saves one is as if he had saved mankind entirely. And that's from verse 5:32. And as the brother said, you know, within our community, it's important within Islam to help other people, and you know, giving blood is something that can save someone's life. I think that's what really needs to be, you know, enforced, that this can save someone's life. And if someone in our community is feeling ill or needs blood, then wouldn't we want the same for us?
Of course, absolutely. And imagine having this, you know, waiting for you on your, you know, your scales on the Day of Judgment, that you'd actually manage to save somebody's life by doing, you know, a kind of fairly easy, simple act. So, Sister Iman, with your organisation, you know, you obviously must come across this a lot in terms of there being a shortage of donors and trying to encourage people to kind of do this more often. So what's your experience with, you know, encouraging people? Is it generally well received?
Yeah, because especially when we are at events and at mosques, seeing the Young Planners logo and just being aware of that, and seeing the youth and just general race and cultures within.
Do you think young people are more inclined towards giving blood than old people, or have you not seen a difference?
Now, probably with the awareness, and because of the social media, and we're just, you know, whereas older people think, oh, it's okay, somebody's there to do it. It's just taken for granted sometimes. It depends. So we are there to kind of motivate and, you know, give that kind of push. Because as young planners, we also want to have an event to go together, to plan this, to go together and actually give blood as a group activity.
Oh,
so
wow,
it's there to be a motivator.
Sometimes you don't want to go and do it on your own. It can be quite scary if you've not done something before. You know, even if you want to do it, sometimes that fear of just going on your own is what holds you back. So to be able to do it in a group setting is always a positive thing. I think sometimes, you know, lack of awareness. I think in our community there's a lot of stuff that we don't talk about that maybe we should be talking about. I think blood donation is one of them, because unfortunately we don't hear about it that often within our community.
I think that's absolutely true, and I think this idea that you said of we kind of think in the back of our minds, oh, somebody else will be doing it. You know, I have to say, if I'm really honest, I do kind of think that as well. I do kind of think, you know, oh, you know, I know there's plenty of donors out there and that kind of thing. And also I think you're kind of lulled into a false sense of security, because I don't know about you guys, but you used to see a lot of the kind of donate blood vans around in kind of supermarket car parks and outside universities and colleges and things like that. But, you know, you don't really see that so much. I suppose that's kind of with the sort of social media aspect. It's kind of been taken off the streets, as it were, and taken online. Would you say that's your experience?
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. We have to pause this really interesting discussion to go for a quick break, but don't go far, as when we return we'll be asking what happens when there aren't enough donors. Before we go, here's a quick reminder of this week's competition. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Women's AM. This morning I'm joined by Sister Laika, Sister Ayan and Iman Ben Ali to discuss giving blood. And don't forget, if you have something to share with us on this topic, please do call in. The number to call is on your screen now, or you can tweet us at Islam Channel, #WAM15. So I'm going to come straight back to the discussion now. I'm going to come back to you, Sister Iman. We were talking a little bit before the break about why there is such a shortage of donors. I want to look at the other side now. What are the consequences of there being, you know, not enough blood? What happens when somebody needs it and they don't get it?
I mean, with the amount of people that can give blood, so it's 4%, 4 out of 100 that are eligible and that don't, you can imagine what happens when it's needed for cancer patients, surgery, and if it's your own family member, what happens then? And with blood, there's no substitute. So what happens with that?
I think it's really important to remember as well that this is literally, you know, you can literally be saving somebody's life, as Laika said earlier, and we shouldn't kind of downplay the importance of this, you know, this act. And if somebody needs it, if it was a family member, you know, obviously we feel really strongly about people going out there and donating.
But that's the thing, you don't want to wait until you're in a certain situation where you think to yourself, you know what, subhanAllah, do you know what? I should have been given blood, because then I could have saved, you know, so-and-so's life, you know? Because you think about it, like even something as wonderful as childbirth, for example, it's an amazing time for the family, for the mother, for everyone that's involved in this child, you know, coming into the world. But what happens if the mother ends up hemorrhaging? Something happens, you know, the birth becomes complicated, she starts to lose blood. What, you know, she is going to need a blood transfusion in order to replace that blood, because you cannot replace, it says here, if blood loss is up to 1.5 litres, it can be replaced with fluids. But if the blood loss is more than 1.5 litres, you need blood to be able to, you know, save that person's life. So what happens then to this mother? It could be your wife, it could be your sister, it could be, do you know, it's a big thing. It's not something that we should take lightly.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. And actually, I know a sister who, you know, she suffers from a disorder where she has very, very low iron, and she actually has regular transfusions, you know, sort of maybe like 3 or 4 a year. And when she gets to the point just before she has it, she's kind of very low energy, prone to kind of passing out and fainting and that kind of thing. And obviously, when she has it, then, you know, she's kind of replenished and she feels normal again. But I often think about the consequences for somebody like her. If that blood wasn't available for her, you know, her quality of life would be, you know, completely reduced. So, you know, it really does make a difference there. So I think we can't stress enough the importance of, you know, going out to do this. We have a caller on the line. Assalamu alaikum, sister. Welcome to the show.
Walaikum salam.
And you're calling us from the Midlands this morning. Jazakallah for calling in. And I understand you have a comment about the importance of donating blood.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I've been having blood transfusions for nearly 39 years now.
Wow.
And just to encourage others, you know, that we should be giving, whether to Muslims or non-Muslims, because you are saving lives. I wouldn't be here, obviously, if I didn't have all those blood transfusions. And I'm so grateful for the people that do, you know, make the time and the effort to go out and donate.
Of course, and I suppose for somebody like you must be constantly thinking about, you know, the importance of donating blood and asking yourself, why don't more people do it?
Definitely, and obviously the quality of life I have with having blood, you know, I've got children, I need to look after them, so, you know, just being able to live a normal life.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, so it's absolutely crucial for you.
But I don't think people realise, you know, how you know, the blood can impact on a person's life.
Yeah.
I think if we really understood how valuable this small deed is, then I think more people would do it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, actually. I think that's a really good point. Thank you so much for calling in. I think it's really important to see the other side, to hear the stories, you know, from the people who the blood goes to, and really get a feeling of, you know, the difference that it makes. So I think aside from actually, you know, kind of going out and donating blood, or, you know, making the intention to, as, you know, inshallah I will be, what else can we do to help this, you know, important cause, Sister Laika?
So it's basically getting the knowledge, so, you know, being aware of where the blood goes, and, you know, blood isn't just one kind of single object. There's loads of different compartments. So after your screening and you're told, you know, if your blood is, you know, able to be used, there's different components within it. So the red blood cells that used to help treat anemia, you've got the platelets, and they can be caused by, you know, leukemia. You can replace blood. You know, you were talking about childbirth or heart surgery that's needed for blood transfusions. You know, my mum has got anemia, so, you know, the iron in her blood is really low.
Yeah.
So that, right now it's being conserved by, you know, medicine and that kind of stuff, but it may get to the point where she needs those kind of blood transfusions, and it's just being aware that it's a really important situation. And, you know, in Islam we kind of see charity as, you know, giving money and that kind of stuff, but charity of blood, it's something else, you know, it's something which is needed, and people should think of charity as something, you know, if there's a need for it, then we should, you know, we should be giving.
Yeah, absolutely, doing, you know, what we can, and obviously, you know, we're in the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah at the moment, so there's extra reward to be gained by, you know, making that intention, if we can, to kind of go forward and do this.
Even not just doing it for yourself, take it beyond yourself as well. So instead of just saying, yes, I'm going to donate blood, get your friends, get your family, get everyone involved, and, you know, from your own little corner that you're at, try and spread awareness and get as many people to sign up and to go and try to donate blood as well, because there's so many things that you can do as an individual. So it's not just about you yourself giving blood, it's about getting the people around you as well.
It's true. And I really like the idea of going in a group to do it, because you know, even the thought of it now is making me feel a bit funny, so I'd quite like to kind of take a bit of moral support along with me, and I think it's good, the more people you can take, obviously, the more blood that can be donated.
There's actually a statistic, one person's you know, donating blood can help 3 lives.
Wow.
So think about that. If you said, you know, tell your friends and family, each person is another 3 lives, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So you wouldn't want to kind of, you know, cash in on the rewards that are kind of available for this action, inshallah. So, Sister Iman, I think we've had a really good discussion about this and a really good introduction to this topic, but what's your kind of take-home message to some of the viewers watching? What advice would you like to leave people with this morning?
To raise awareness, try and register themselves for giving blood, so whether that's on Facebook, muslimgiveblood.co.uk, or just over the phone with the NHS. So whether it's yourself or raising awareness to other people, and I think it's just to keep going with that.
Absolutely.
Word of mouth.
So I think it's really good to do it online. I think that's something, you know, we can all kind of do very quickly. We can do it in our lunch breaks and, you know, get the ball rolling on that. So I kind of really like that idea. And that's what I'll be doing after the show, inshallah. And Sister Ayan?
Make it a point of conversation. So wherever you are, you know, let yourself be known for that person who's going to be talking about blood donations. Oh, every time we see Ayan, she's always talking about giving blood. I think be that person, because I think no one really thinks about it unless it's been brought up in conversation or they've mentioned it in passing. So I think be that person person. Be constantly talking about it, no matter what gathering you're in, because you never know, that person that, you know, having a conversation with might actually say, you know what, actually, that's a really great idea. I think I'll go ahead and do that.
Absolutely. I think that's the thing with planting these seeds, isn't it? You never know how it's going to grow and how it's going to manifest itself. So I think having these little discussions is, you know, something really valuable. And
I would say kind of not see it as something that will be time-consuming, because you can organise it in a way that you can do it in your spare time. There's a lot of, you know, NHS is very big, and there are a lot of places you can go to, you know, during your work breaks, like we said. So don't think of it as something time-consuming. Think of it as something which you're doing as life-saving.
Yeah. And
it's an incredible thing, and inshallah you'll get a lot of reward for it as well.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely true. And I understand you've actually donated blood, not here in the UK, but actually in Tanzania.
Yeah.
So what was your experience there?
It was very scary. I was quite young, but it's something that is you kind of just do it basically.
Right. What made you do it there?
Because there was a need in the hospital.
I see.
So yeah. But it's something. Basically, what happens is they ask you so many questions. I think the questioning part is the scarier part. And
yeah, I found that. I was really put off by the questions. I have to be honest. That was what kind of, when I went with my sister, that's kind of what really sort of put me off. So it's the same over there. The same sort of screening process.
It only happens. Oh, sorry. It only happens once. So you've got basically they ask you all the questions and it happens once. But obviously, I was in another country.
Yeah.
Over here, they would have it on record, so you wouldn't have to answer all those questions again.
Okay.
It would just be on a regular basis then.
Yeah. Okay. And so how long did it take? How long were you there for?
So you're there for about, I don't know, the questions altogether half an hour, 45 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's actually a lot quicker than what I thought. And how did you feel afterwards? Did you feel? Did you have any lightheadedness?
Yeah,
or?
you feel a bit weak.
Yeah.
But it's normal. I mean, it's something. Obviously, you're giving blood, but you have to eat up and.
And then how quickly after you'd
kind of stuff,
donated, would you say you felt back to normal again?
By the next day, you're fine.
By the next day, you're fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I was young, so it's different.
It depends for everyone.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. You're convincing me. I'm feeling better about this. So when you go to donate blood, how much will they take each time? I know we said every 16 weeks as a woman you can go and donate, and how much will they be taking every 16 weeks?
It depends. I think it's a litre. I don't think they take too much, because obviously that's going to affect the way you're going to be able to function for the rest of the day. So it's not like they're going to take like a massive, I don't know, jug of like blood's worth from you. So just enough that would help people, and that would kind of, you know, put you in a situation where you're actually able to walk out of the centre.
Just an armful, as my dad used to say.
Sometimes it depends on the demand as well within the blood bank. So if they need a lot, or if they need a little bit, you know, they'll let you know.
Yeah, okay, absolutely. So Jazakallah, her sister's a really interesting discussion. Blood is the most precious gift that anyone can give to another person, the gift of life. A decision to donate your blood can save a life, or even several, if the blood is separated into its components, the red cells, the platelets and the plasma, which can be used for individual patients with specific conditions. As Muslims, we know that life is a precious gift, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Ma'idah verse 32 that if you've saved the life of one person, it's as if you've saved the whole of humanity. Alhamdulillah. Let us be that person and take that step today in changing someone's life. This has been such an informative discussion, but if you've missed any of today's show, don't fear, you can catch the repeat this evening at 11 p.m. or you can catch up with the highlights from all this week on Sunday at 3 p.m. Or you'd like to catch up with our episodes on YouTube. Take a look at this clip to find out how.